Okay, welcome to part two. What we're going to do is we're going to investigate the power of a product of two powers. So complete this table, use the pattern to answer the reflect questions. So like I said in part one, in order to answer, in order to expand 2 times 5 to the power of 3, this whole thing is the base. And the exponent tells me how many times I multiply the base together. So I get 2 times 5 times 2 times 5 times 2 times 5. And I can rearrange with the commutative property, which means that it doesn't matter. The order of multiplication doesn't matter. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. And I can write that as 2 to the power of 3 times 5 to the power of 3. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. So 3 times 4 to the power of 2 is 3 times 4, and then times 3 times 4. Okay, now I rearrange it, and I go 3 times 3 times 4 times 4. So I get 3 to the power of 2 times 4 to the power of 2. Okay. Well, I start to see a little pattern here, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing it right. I'm going to, oops, let me put the brackets around to show you. So 4 times 2 times 4 times 2, because my base is 4 times 2, I have to do it 5 times. 4 times 2 times 4 times 2 and times 4 times 2. Okay. So that is the same thing as writing. I'm just going to move this so that I can write just below it. I'm running out of room here. So 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 1, 2, 3, one more. And then I have to multiply my 2's in. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Again, the commutative property tells me that the order of multiplication doesn't matter. So another way of writing that is I have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, so 5 times. So 4 to the power of 5 times 2 to the power of 5. So really all I did was I put the exponent with both of them. I put the exponent with the 3 and the 4, and I put the exponent with the 3 and the 5. So really this should be 5 to the 4 times 3 to the 4. Okay? So now I have a beeping going on in my house, so I'm going to go turn off the beep. What I want you to do is write down these notes, and then I'll be right back to explain it. Okay, so we have a power of product rule. So we're multiplying two numbers together in the brackets, and that's our base. So that's our A and our B. So you see how product means multiply. So see how we're multiplying here? This law only happens when there's a multiplication sign in between there. If there's addition sign, then it's not repeated multiplication. It has to be a multiply in between there. So when I see that multiply, this exponent goes to the first base to power that, and it goes to the second base to power that. Now my A and my B, my bases can't be equal to 0. We're not going to allow that. And again, once again, my exponents are always going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Okay, we're not going to get into the negative exponents. We're not going to get into any fractional exponents. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'm actually going to work on this example first. So this 2 goes to the negative 7 base. And since it's in the brackets, we keep it in brackets. And this 2 goes to the 5 because of the multiplication sign. And we're done, because it just says write as a power. It doesn't say to evaluate. So in this one's a little bit harder because this 3 goes to that power, which is a base. So I have to exponent the base, which is actually a power. and then the 3 goes to my second base. Well, now we just learned that double power means that we multiply. So this is actually 3 to the power 6 times 2 to the power 3. This is the one that we just learned in part 1 of the videos. So it's double power, 1 base, 2 exponents. We multiply the exponents together. Now, once again, it says write as a power. It doesn't say to evaluate, so you're done. The bases are different. We can't continue on. Okay. So stop the video and see if you can do the quick checks, and then press play to check your answers with mine. Okay, welcome back. So 5 to the power of 3 to the 3 times 2 to the power of 0 to the 3. And now I have double power on both of them. So I have 5 to the 9 times 2 to the 0 times 3 is 0. And this is an exponent law, you guys. So we're going to write this as 5 to the 9 times 1, which is 5 to the 9. Now I'm just going to make a correction here. I just want you to write it as a power, not as a single power. Okay, so this 2 has to go to that base, which is a power, and it has to go to this base, which is a power. So I'm going to be double powering 2 things. Okay, so make sure that we keep the brackets around that base and this base. That's pretty important because of the negative. Okay, so the 2 different types of brackets with the 2 exponents. So we're going to power both powers, and then we're going to use our double power law, which is -6 to the power of 8 times, and again, once again, that's double power, 2 exponents, 1 base. Got to keep those negatives in the brackets since it started that way. Okay, and again, we don't have to evaluate because it doesn't say to evaluate. We cannot add these exponents because our bases are different. So we're done. So the power of a quotient rule is when you have a power of a quotient, apply the exponent to each factor in the base. So notice now I have, instead of these 2 being multiplied together, they're just being divided. Same rules apply. The exponent goes to both of the bases. So it goes to the A base and to the B base. And the A might be a power as well. We cannot have A and B equal to 0. And once again, those exponents will never be negative in grade 9. They will never be fractions in grade 9. They'll always be whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So all we're going to do is we're going to write 10 to the power of 5 over 3 to the power of 5. And we are done because now we're dealing with different bases. Okay, the 5 goes to both bases in my quotient. Can be written a different way. We can write it because this is divide, but the divide signs also, there's the quotient there. So that power or that exponent must go to both of those bases. So -4 to the power of 2 divided by -5 to the power of 2. Okay. Here's a quick check, so just stop the video or press pause, try them on your own, and then come back and press play to see if your answers match mine. So, welcome back. 4 to the power of 1 and 2 to the power of 4. Did I say 4 to the power of 1? Oh my goodness gracious, 1 to the power of 4. My apologies. 1 to the power of 4 and 2 to the power of 4. The 4 goes to both there and that one. Now this negative, even though it's not in a bracket it's in the bracket to that exponent. So you have to keep it in the bracket to that exponent. And then 5 to the power of 2. If you want to put brackets around it, that's fine, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's try. These are questions that use the 3 laws that we learned in lesson or in part 1 and part 2. Here we are multiplying 2 bases together and the exponents outside. So this is the power of 2 products. So we make sure that the exponent goes to both. Okay. This is double power, so we multiply the exponents, and anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. In B, once again, we have two bases. We're multiplying it together. It must be multiplication. So we, whoops, -2 has to be in brackets, times 4 to the 2. In this case, it's a quotient, so the 2 goes to both of them, or the squared goes to both. So 8 squared and 2 squared. In this one, we have 9 cubed. And this negative is in the brackets to that exponent, so it must stay in the brackets to the exponent. And then we have double power here. We have double brackets, so this negative is, it's -4 to both exponents, so we have to keep that negative in the brackets to the power of double power, which is 4. Now it does say to evaluate in this, so 3 to the power of 3 is 27. We have to do the order of operations now, times 8, and we get, let's see if I can do this in my head, 6, 5, 216. We've already evaluated that one. This one's going to get a little messy here. -2 to the power of 2, which is 4, positive 4, times 4 to the power of 2, which is 16, and 4 times 16 is 64. 8 squared is 64. 2 squared is 4. 64 divided by 4 is 16. Down here, 9 to the power of 3. Oh my goodness gracious, I don't know that one. 9 times 9 times 9 is, oh, I know that one, 729. -3 to the power of 3, it's in the brackets. You're going to get -27. So the answer is -9. And now -4 to the power of 4 is 256. And a negative times a negative times a negative times a negative, it's an even number, so it's going to be a positive 256. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I am going to put the rest of this lesson in part 3 of the video.